Banyana.
Nihil, shall we start now?
Yes.
Yes. Shall we start now?
Yes, please start.
Okay. Good afternoon from Thailand. Auspicious to you all. I'm Joy Minteng, Program Officer for Needed Office, Bangkok. I would like to invite Nihil to introduce yourself. Nihil, please.
Yeah. Good morning. I am Nikhil Srivastava from National Cooperative Development Corporation. I'll be the moderator for this webinar. Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of Network for the Development of Agricultural Cooperatives in Asia and the Pacific Training Center, Bangkok, I welcome you all to the webinar on cyber risk mitigations and strategy lesson from Asia for Kenyan Cooperatives today. May I kindly request Group National Chairperson, Kenya Unions of Savings and Credit Cooperatives Limited, Mr. George Makatu, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. George, please. Mr. George, please.
दो तीन इम्पोर्टेंट लोगों का नाम दे दो जो दो तीन इम्पोर्टेंट लोग हैं जी जिनके नाम पे मैं एड्रेस करूँगा
Is Mr. George is there or he is not online? Nikhil?
Yes, sir.
Is Mr. George online?
He's online, but sir, he's not able to. He's not responding. Actually, he is not.
Maybe.
Mr. George, are you in online?
Ask him to unmute.
Mr. George, are you able to hear us?
Okay, I think let me, you can request then Mr. KB Uprati, Cat ma'am, you can request Mr. KB Uprati if he is there.
Okay. May I respectfully invite Mr. KB Uprati Vice Chairpersons on Network for the Development of Agriculture and Cooperatives in Asia and the Pacific, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. Apreti, please.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Namaste in Nepali. Respected chairperson of NIDA, chairperson Kusko, respected Mr. Geography, director from the NIDA and NCDC, Dr. Gulshan Rai, and all participants in webinar.
Majorly, Wadeke, Mike, Wadeke finance representative, Mike. No, signature Kiro Hagu. Now, you call it.
Okay, I would like to thank the NIDA team for organizing this program on cyber risks and mitigation strategy, and also Cusco, Kenya for partnership. I welcome you all on behalf of NIDA. We all are aware of the global pandemic situation faced by entire world. Practice of social distancing, remote working, and digital banking have become common. With us increase in use of technology, cyber risks is also increasing everywhere. The world is focused on health and economy, and in same time, cyber criminals around the world are taking benefit of this situation. Hence, this webinar has been organized to provide knowledge and awareness, cyber risks, and a way to mitigate on challenge. Lessons from the Asia will be shared will be helpful to us. I hope the session will be very knowledgeable and effective. Thank you.
We have amongst us Miss Cat, Ma'am Cat. We have amongst us Ambassador Anil Trigunath. He is an expert on Africa. He has served as in different high commissions and embassies and across the world. He has served in Africa also. I'll also request Ambassador Anil Trigunath to speak very briefly on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving this opportunity to share my views. In fact, I would like to more speak about relations between India and Kenya. I had visited Kenya even before joining the Indian Foreign Service in 1980, and things were changing quite a bit. And thereafter, in service, that used to be our route. So I traveled several times there, have a lot of fond memories of Kenya, as well as the affection that one enjoyed from the people. Friends, from over 2 millennia ago, the waters of the great Indian Ocean have facilitated the intermingling of our two peoples. We are also the maritime neighbors. Indians who are trading with the Swahili coast since early historic times, as evidenced by the ancient works. With the region coming under Omani rule, particularly Mogadishu, Mombasa, and Zanzibar, Indian presence remained part of Swahili kaleidoscope. With the advent of Portuguese and finally British, Indian involvement became deeper. Kenya has tremendous geopolitical importance, not only in East African region, but also in the Indian Ocean. The country's ports serve as conduits for commerce and aid across East Africa. Kenya's neighbors rely on its ports, highways, and logistics networks for deliveries of goods and access to international markets. The Mombasa port, therefore, has the potential to control sea traffic to East Africa. Due to its strategic location, Kenya plays a significant role in regional trade, investment, infrastructure, development, and general economic growth. It maintains a free market economy with a vibrant private sector and therefore has a strong position to maintain in the economic template of the region. India established the Office of Commissioner for British East Africa in 1948 whereas Kenya achieved its independence in December 1963. And our first resident was Ambassador Appa Pant, who was an iconic person, and we also maintain a assistant high commission in Mombasa. Prominent Indians were involved in the freedom struggle of Kenya in the beginning, and many of them are very well known. And Prime Minister Modi, in fact, I must come down to the near future, visited Nairobi in 2006. And he also said that the communities from the western shores of India, especially from Gujarat and the eastern coast of Africa, have settled in each other's lands. In 19th century, Indians came to Kenya during the colonial era to build the iconic Mombasa-Uganda railway. Ancient links between societies have also enriched our cultures. The rich Swahili language includes many Hindi words. Our cuisine has developed commonality and mutual appreciation. In fact, much before PM Modi spelled out his Africa policy while addressing the parliament in Uganda in 2018, he underscored the key elements during his visit to Kenya when he said that we are ready to join hands with Kenya in fulfilling your development priority in sectors of your choosing and at a speed that you prefer, and be it in agriculture or healthcare, needs for education, vocational educational training, development of small businesses, renewable energy or power transmission, building of institutional strength. Like in the past, our experience and expertise are available for Kenya's benefit. We have a thriving economic and commercial relationship, but it is not a temporary or transactional relationship. It is a time-tested bond built on the foundation of shared values and shared experience. The statement of Prime Minister Modi was very important because several bilateral agreements were signed, which included defense, trade, development, assistance. India also handed 30 field ambulances for the use of Kenya Defense Forces. In fact, 5 business-to-business MOUs were also signed at the same time. India has, there are roughly 100,000 people of Indian origin, including 20,000 Indian citizens who are contributing to the well-being of the state of Kenya. Prime Minister also gifted the state-of-the-art made in India cancer therapy machine, Babatron 2, to Kenyatta National Hospital, apart from giving a grant of $1 million for refurbishment of Mahatma Gandhi Graduate Library of the University of Nairobi. President Kenyatta also visited India in 2017 for Vibrant Gujarat, and key relationship aspects like maritime security, enhancing trade and investment relationship, and counter-terrorism were discussed. An MOU, which is more important for this meeting, for cooperation in the agriculture sector and allied sector, and LOC for a line of credit of $100 million for agricultural mechanization, was signed during the visit. So President Kenyatta had earlier visited for the India-Africa Forum Summit, and we hope that this year when the summit is held in India or elsewhere, we will have the benefit of continued engagement of the leadership. We have had a India-Kenya trade agreement since 1981 actually, and both countries have accorded each other a most favored nation treatment. Although our trade is barely $2.2 billion, and the main exports to Kenya include petroleum products, pharmaceuticals, steel products, machinery, vehicles. Main Kenyan exports to India include soda ash, vegetable, tea, leather, and metal scrap. In fact, the Kenyan tea has made a mark not only in India, but in many countries in the world. Kenya produces several cash crop agriculture crops like tea, coffee, corn, wheat, sugarcane, fruits, vegetables, dairy products, beef, pork, and poultry. And in fact, all these have a tremendous potential in our current engagement as we are having between at this seminar. In fact, I would like to say that India has invested. We have more than 60 major Indian companies which are working in the real estate, pharmaceuticals, telecom. Airtel is there, IT and ITS, banking and agro-based industries in Kenya, which is Indian pharma companies are also doing their bit to help our friends there. India has been providing capacity building assistance through the Exim Bank lines of credit, and $61.6 million line of credit was recently given. One important agreement which was for development of SMEs was given. Then a line of credit agreement which is very useful in the sense that only in recently during the COVID-19, there was a Rift Valley textile factory, for which Indian government gave about $30 million for its upgradation. This facility, in fact, is helping a great deal our Kenyan and African friends when they are providing masks and PPEs for everyone. Then the line of agreement, another line of LOC, as I said, is 100 million of agricultural mechanization project, which was signed in January for the companies that are looking to participate in these the ventures. We are original members of many international organizations, including the IOR-ARC, and we continue to work together. And I would like to close by just saying that the India-Kenya relationship has stood the test of time and diversified over the years, as is evidenced by this seminar. But since, as Robert Frost once said, we have miles to go, so we all have to work together continuously for upgrading this relationship. I wish you all the very best and success in this seminar, and I hope that it will be useful in meeting the new challenges like the cyber risks, and wish you all a very good health to our people of Kenya and India, especially in these trying times. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your informative address. As per agenda, may I kindly request Group National Chairperson, Kenya Unions of Savings and Credit Cooperatives Limited, Mr. George Makatu, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. George, please.
Thank you very much, and welcome. I'm George Magutu from Kenya. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you. George
Yeah, we
Magutu
can
from
hear
Kenya.
Yeah, please.
I really appreciate the great concern of the DAC and the great speech from the Kenyan ambassador from India. Well, Mr. Geoffrey Changombe, Commissioner for Cooperative Development, State Department for Cooperatives, Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives, Nairobi. Mr. KB Uprait, Vice Chairman NEDAC, Dr. Gushan Lai, Senior Advisor, NCDC, Cooperators, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hoping it's morning in India. Let me thank and appreciate you for joining us in this webinar, the first of its kind between our friends in Asia and the cooperators in Kenya. Indeed, this webinar reflects the cooperative spirit of cooperation among cooperators. You navigate through these challenging times caused by a health pandemic by enabling you mitigate cyber risk. The Network for the Development of Agriculture, Cooperatives in Asia, and the Pacific in the DAC is a unique region forum linking 21 apex cooperative organizations in 12 countries. The NEDAC member organizations in Bangladesh, China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Mongolia, Nepal, Philippines, Republic of Korea, Sri Lanka, and Thailand represent 3 million agricultural cooperatives, which play a crucial role in improving the livelihoods of 150 million rural households. The partnership between NEDAC and Cusco was born out of interactions through various international platforms and through networking, as well as knowledge sharing. The cooperative movement has grown immensely. Ladies and gentlemen, cyber insecurity is a growing concern for many financial institutions. Indeed, global cybercrime damages are predicted to cost up to $6 trillion annually by 2021, up from $3 trillion in 2015. Further, an estimated 61% of security and IT leaders are concerned about an increase in cyber attacks targeting their employees who are working from home in this regard. It is important for us all to put measures in place to safeguard our cooperatives from cybercrime. Thank you and welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Judge, for your welcome address. As per agenda, I would like to request Mr. Geoffrey Nathan-Gonbin, Commissioner for the Cooperative Development, State Department for Cooperative, Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fishery and Cooperatives from Kenya to deliver the inaugural address. Mr. Geoffrey, please.
Mr.
I think the commissioner is just away. Let us, Miss Kat, I think you should request Dr. Gulshan Rai to straight away come to the keynote address part.
Okay. Now, may I respectfully invite Mr. Gulshan Rai, Senior Advisor from National Cooperative Development Corporation, to present the Cyber Risk and Mitigation Strategy lesson learned from Asia for Kenya Cooperatives.
Thank you. Good morning, and we are more leading to good afternoon in Kenya. And good afternoon to my Indian friends. Mr. Sandeep Naik, the chairman, NIDA, Mr. K.B. Ubreni, vice chairman, NIDA, Mr. George Mugambi, national chairman, CUSCO, Kenya, my esteemed friend, Ambassador Sibnoy, Mr. W.I. Khan from NIDA Bangkok,
साउंड का क्या हो रहा है?
NIDA
अरे निखिल सुन रहा है, साउंड ठीक नहीं आ रहा, क्यों नहीं ठीक हो रहा?
Participants and delegates, good morning and good afternoon to all of you once again. It's a pleasure, and I thank NIDEC, particularly Mr. Sandeep Naik and all its executive of NIDEC for inviting me and giving me opportunity to present my views on this important subject of cyber risk, particularly when we are in the cyber age or the digital age. Friends, we are in the cyber age and digital age, which is much different than what we have seen about a decade ago. We have dealt with certain technologies like search engine, the transistors, or the email systems, and of course, the age-old, the telecommunication systems when it transferred to the mobile technology. But this age is much more different than what we have experienced. Our views or our thinking, our problems, risk are as much as we saw there every transformation or the to the new technologies. We face the same problem when we move to the social media, the WW, or the search engines, all the some sort of a virtual reality. But these technologies have been stabilized. All of us have been now well versed with the use of this technology and using it day from day to night at a different activities and different point of a time. For the last couple of years, we have started using the different technologies like the artificial intelligence and the machine learning including the Internet of Things there. Can you imagine the Google search without the artificial intelligence? Can you imagine today when you type a WhatsApp message, it corrects because the technologies like AI or the machine learning are playing an important role. At times, you type something else, your intention is something else, but the message type is something else. These are all the new technologies which have come up there. Everyone was expecting that it will take some time to stabilize these innovative technologies. However, the pandemic, as has been brought out, one of the speakers, that we are finding that the transformation in the technologies has moved almost 2 years well in advance, which we were expecting 2 years after. The new culture from work from home has started, and it appears that this culture is going to be the integral part of the people worldwide. This integral part will deploy not only the technologies which we have, which we discussed, but all new kind of technologies which are going to emerge in a period of a time there. Slide. Next slide. So today what we see the rise of digital enterprise sectors, and across the sectors, across the country, across the geography and internationally. There is a need to react quickly, and IT is a tool to provide us a quick reaction. Looking to the applications and the activities which we are performing, the entire IT activities are becoming more complex. And to address the complexity, we need to develop innovative solutions to meet the need of the enterprise digital aspirations. There is a complete divide between the younger generation and the older generation, and the need for application is felt more by the younger generation because they think in terms of digital rather than the analog, which a generation of my age, they think that. And as I said, we have gone from the move to the culture from work from home, and particularly the remote working. I checked up with many companies world over. In India, most of the good companies are saying that they will start attending office physically by October. And someone was telling me today morning that the work from home is mandated till December 2020. That's the thing which we have entered into, and how we will discharge our responsibilities other than moving or using through information technology. Right now, we are sitting in a different locations. I am from India. Many of my colleagues and friends are participating from India, and many of the participants are from different parts of the world, and therefore we are all connected and exchanging our views, interacting on a real-time basis and on a flat kind of a network. In fact, the information technology has converted the entire world into a true global village as well as a flat society connected on a flat network. Next. The components of the digital transformation which are emerging and are becoming part of all our activities includes as I said, the artificial intelligence. We have the robotic process. All your financial systems are using the robotic process, the kind of a software which provide the instant analysis, instant data analysis, instant analysis of the activities, what kind of issues are coming up, emerging, transactions are happening. Then we have the blockchain. In the last 3 years, this technology has emerged as a very important tool, and it appears that this will emerge as a very important tool for the purpose of authentication, authorization. Many agriculture applications, cooperative banks, and in other spheres and sectors are using or are planning to use this technology. Then we have the Internet of Things. The issue is the advanced analytics, which I mentioned in the context of robotic process automation. And the most important is the augmented reality. I find in many parts of the world, if I have to hire a premises, I don't have to visit the premises physically. We can look at through such kind of a software tools, which gives us what kind of a building is there, what kind of a premises is there. The model of the building can be created and seen how will it look like there. And most important aspect is the cyber security and the cyber risk, which we are discussing today. So these are the components of a digital transformation, which we will find employed, deployed, and finding applications in a different manner in all our activities, be it academic, be it defense, military, education, the industry, or any financial sector or the critical sector. Today, we are in a multi-stakeholder kind of an environment where each one is connected and performing different roles and different applications. Now, what transformation we expect in another 2 years is the deployment of the 5G technologies. The 5G technology is going to be a kind of a paradigm shift vis-a-vis the present prevailing technologies of 2G, 3G, and 4G. It's going to operate on a complete internet-based protocols. The equipment will change, my frequency spectrum will change, bandwidth will come abundant, and 1 gigabit of the bandwidth you can receive at your mobile phones. Now, this technology is going to connect all the diverse kind of sectors, diverse and heterogeneous equipment, whether it's a road equipment or health equipment or any other sector you find, they're going to connect together. Now imagine what kind of a complexity it will arise there when billions of devices of the heterogeneous nature will get connected on the 5G. Now this technology or the next generation communication will bring another paradigm shift. You can create a separate network point to point through software from your device or from your premises and try to create a dedicated kind of a network there. the entire routing of the signals or the communication will happen from the BTS there. So imagine what kind of a response it will come up and the complexity it will give rise to in a matter of another 1 year. The real exploitation of the technologies which I discussed or I presented to all of you will become much more complex in a matter of 1 year. We need to get ready to utilize, address these technologies and meet the challenges, address the challenges which will arise because of the technological innovations which are happening. Let us be very clear that no one can afford to not to deploy the technologies. There could be a gap, but everyone will have to deploy the technologies because the earlier technologies will not be able to maintain, and the vendors will not be able to provide any updates and upgrades there. We need to we need to understand the technologies and the challenges which are emerging because of the innovations. Next. Now, what are the forecasts which we are expecting because of the technological innovation there? So we will be dealing all across the sensors. The IoTs are a sensor, biological sensors will emerge. You see the Fitbit, you see the Apple Watch, Samsung Watch, or any other watch, or in the critical sector, sensors will emerge there. Connectivity will become very, very important. Processing power will go up. Artificial intelligence will get implemented at a grassroots and all application. So there will be opportunities to create more solutions, more employment, and more kind of it will increase the economic activity significantly and tremendously there. The AI and robotics in different form will play a very crucial and important role, including the military and defense operation. In fact, the people say that it will change the entire military operation battlefield and ecosystem in general. You'll see in a matter of 1 year, and you can see the geopolitical kind of issues which are started arising because of this technological innovation, and all of us are aware about the issue of the Huawei, particularly on the 5G technology is there. A lot of debate, a lot of geopolitical consideration, a lot of geopolitical kind of discussions are happening, and there is a fight there. There will be artificial enabled cyber monitoring. That kind of activity will happen there. AI will play a dual role. It will be a kind of a multi-edged sword there. It can be a friend, it can be a kind of an enemy to you, and anyone can use it for good purposes, and anyone can use bad purposes and try to change the course of action while monitoring the activity. AI-enabled cyber offensive and cyber defense will happen, and there will be greater demand for virtual autonomous system. All of us keep on reading Tesla about reading it. We keep on reading the Google's, the driverless car. It has become a reality. For a few years ago, I used to take it as fiction. Myself, I dealt with the technology for almost more than 35 years. But today, these are mind-boggling kind of a technology which has become a reality, no more a fiction. So there will be more demand of a simulation and services, and there will be a higher compliance cost because we need to monitor the technology from the point of view of performance, from the point of view of efficiency, and the point of view of misuse. We'll come how the technology is going to be misused, and we'll see subsequently now. Next. Everything, as you have seen, everything is becoming a software driven. So-called the next generation software era which we have entered. About a decade ago, the role of the software was some 30%. It increased to 60%. Today, the software plays a role almost 75 to 80%. By changing the software, we can change the performance of the system. We can change the features of the system, and that's what we are trying to do. Every activity is now related to software. People are more working in the software, less in the hardware, and the hardware is by and large confined to one of the country which has become a manufacturing country there, and all of us knows about it. Now, there are certain other features of the software. It has given right to virtualization. Means virtualization in the layman language means that the different users of the same technology feel that the entire equipment is dedicated to them, but actually they are one of the users. Many users are available. The users feel the entire power of the system, power of the equipment, or the computing power is available with them. We had seen how the storage was virtualized, thereafter how the software was virtualized there, and today with the 5G, everything will be virtualized. And I said, you can partition the network, you can slice the network, you can reroute the system, all kind of a thing will happen as if it is a dedicated network to me. So we have, because of the software, we are achieving the virtualization. So in fact, in reality, we are in the virtualized world in all aspects, in all manner there. So we will be, this virtualization will enhance in time to come. This is the factor we need to see. All applications, whether in the bank or in the financial sector in general, insurance sector, or in the industrial critical sector, everything will be a kind of a virtualized application, and that's what we are trying to do. We are going to see certain changes in the structure. Now, when this innovation comes up, at every innovation, there is a disruption. There's a disruption there. So in this, when the innovation comes up, there will be a disruption again. Imagine you have a Tesla car coming there, driverless car coming over there. It will be all driven by the Internet of Things. The embedded devices will be there. What will happen to the workshops which repair? So many people are employed to repair the cars there. In India, if you move across the highway, you find so many workshops to repair it. What will happen to those people, those workshops, because the future cars or the future devices will be all made of the embedded devices in incorporating, adapting this kind of a technology which I have described. Lot of disruption will happen. Lot of training need to be done. Skill upgradation need to be done. Some of them may, some of them may not. The whole aspects of your industrial environment has changed there. With the coming of the clouds, the entire architecture of the IT market is changing there. People are looking for a desktop, no more talking about a server computer system in the premises. Everyone is moving to the data center or the cloud, public cloud, software cloud, and we are going to see the SaaS or PaaS or all kind of a model we are going to see. So entire marketing structure has changed there. This technology innovation disruption is bound to come, and we need to be ready to address those disruption there. Now, what has been projected there by the S&P 500 Fortune kind of a thing, that the life of a company, a corporate sector, was in 1964, 33 years. What we expect to be 12 years in another 7 years. See, the transition will happen and disruption will happen. This is because of the technology changes, technology adoption, technology deployment, the divide between the older and the new generation, and how we need to address those challenges there. Today, a new thing has happened, this emergence of a startup sector, startup culture there. Everyone wants to do a startup. World over, everyone is focusing on startup. Unicorn with a capital market of $1 billion, or the Decacorn with a $10 billion kind of a market cap. This is the scenario which is emerging there. People are setting the startup. There's a fashion to startup. The graduates coming out from the premier institutions in the world, they prefer to start up. They prefer to go to the startup, make money, develop a product, make money, and by selling the company there. That's what changes are happening there. And we need to address to those challenges. Most of the technological innovations are happening in the startup, and they are playing a very, very useful role. Today, if you look at the 10 largest companies in the world by the market cap, all 10 are tech companies. No more are the ExxonMobil, no more are the Coca-Cola, no more are the GE, or no more are the automobile company like GM Motors or Ford or even Toyota or those things there. They're all tech companies. Google, Apple, Facebook, Alibaba, they're all playing an important role in 10 years. That's what change has happened. Technology is playing a role. And these forces of changes are going to happen there. I visited the New York Stock Exchange a couple of years ago, and I find that the entire hall was being used for a volleyball kind of a games there. And I asked them why. Because of the use of the RPA, the robotic process automation, and the technologies, no more the floor trading is happening there. All from a remote, all computer systems are playing a role. When I came back to India, I saw our Mumbai Stock Exchange or the National Stock Exchange. I find the same environment there. Lot of change in the space, lot of saving in the space, lot of changing in the other kind of area. Activity has gone up. The service has become a more efficient service are there. These are the changes which has happened, is going to happen. Please remember, about 10 years ago, the role of a technical personnel in a company used to be minimal. Every other activity was being held. Every activity was being held by the CEO with other people there. In the last 5 years, the role of CTO went up, and today means in 2020, the role of CTO is almost equivalent to the role of a CEO in the company. Never used to be CTO, never used to be CIO, never ruled to be the CSO. These all concepts have come up during the last couple of years there. What I'm going to see in another 2 years, the CEO and CTO will be combined together. CEO will have to be technological savvy. If you are attending this conference, imagine that when you go up to the senior position, the knowledge, appreciation of the technology into your domain is going to be very, very crucial factor in your handling the operations there. Next. So today we are going in this 3 type of disruption, disruptor, followers, and laggards. Look at the disruptor. I said 10 companies who are the tech companies. They are disruptor. They are disrupting everything. Every model talk about has been disrupting. Look at the banking sector. Is it the same as we have seen about a couple of years ago? Who goes to the branch today? Everything is remotely. Internet banking, even the ATMs are becoming useless. There are companies who are followers. GE, Ford, they are following the technology. Tesla, they are following the technology and creating another layer of technology. But then there are many companies who have not adopted the technology, who have not adopted the innovations, and they become a laggard. They are going. Where is GE today? Anybody talks about the GE? It used to be a company with the highest the market cap. Today, where it is? Look at the share market, what it has. And this is true across the board in all the countries, whether it's India or Kenya. I am perfectly aware. I visited Kenya last year in a ORF seminar conference there. Kenya is the leader when it comes to Africa in terms of IT. And you will find that your IT companies are also leading and creating a disruption among the other companies in the country. Next. Now we have seen how innovation is playing a role, and I also said this innovation is going to give rise to a number of challenges there which we need to address. One of the challenge I discussed is the adoption of the technology. The second challenge I have discussed, the disruption it will come up there. We will adopt the technology, there is no choice. We will face a disruption, there is no escape to do that, and we need to find ways and means to adopt and to avoid disruption, to overcome the disruption, change our model, change our business model, and train our manforce to overcome the disruption factor. That's a thing I've discussed. Now look at the third factor for which we are meeting today. Is everyone talked about cyber security, cyber breach there. And I said that we are in an interconnected world, flat network, everybody's connected there. You cannot distinguish between a military network or the civil network. When I connect on the internet, now I'm connected to you, I am on a worldwide connected there. Anybody can enter into my system, anybody can join my system, and anybody can do whatever they want to do, whatever is feasible to do that, with whatever thing, permission, authorization, the one will have it. So heterogeneity has increased, different softwares are being used, and this has given rise to issues of cyber security. Why cyber security issues? What all I have said, everything is becoming a software driven kind of applications there. By changing software, I can change the features of the system, performance of the system, efficiency of the system, or make up and down. You will recall that there was a lot of issues in the media, and I'm sure India faced, you also would have faced it. Lower model or the older model of certain mobile phones. The batteries were creating a problem. They were draining the power. They were draining the software patches were draining the batteries there. If you recall that, immediately the software patch was supplied by the mobile vendor there. It was a software which was creating issue. After all, what is software? Software is nothing but the list of instruction. You add instruction, you delete instruction, you modify the instruction, you can change the functioning of the system. It's a program. You write the program. How to do that? You write in a Python, you write in a C++, you write in a Fortran, or you write in any kind of a language. If someone tries to access my software listing and try to manipulate certain things, it will give rise to issue. It will change the way the device is happening there, and that's why there are issues with the security. So, and that becomes important that my devices should be safe, secure, my device software is secure, my network should be secure, so that no one is able to unauthorizedly or illegitimately able to manipulate my software or change the software and perform different action. That is the real cause of the security there. Now, why security has become important? One factor I have explained. The second factor, which I have said in my things, that we are in a complete flat network, all heterogeneous thing. You are working, someone may be watching this program on an Apple phone, someone on an Android phone, or someone on different kind of devices, or an iPad. We are on a different platform, different software. No software which is applied is free from the vulnerabilities, or it's not 100% secure. It's not a rugged there. That's why you get patches and the updates and upgrades, and those upgrades and updates make your system more secure and more rugged there. So these vulnerabilities are a result of the software deficiencies, software problems. These are exploited by the hackers in the loopholes in the software and try to manipulate the program, try to manipulate the data, enter unauthorizedly in your system and create a security issues. Then there are interfaces and protocols there. When I said interfaces, different people are logged on a different devices. in my premises also, in my office also, different computer systems are attached together. Those systems are coming from different vendors there. So there will be a problem in configuration, matching a problem. One configuration should allow another configuration. I have a software rules called a ports. It should be appropriately open, appropriately configured to allow a particular data. You find in the firewall, one has to configure the firewall. So these are the interfaces which give rise to a improper configuration, improper interfaces, again give rise to vulnerabilities which are exploited by the hackers there. And then the last one is important, is the processes there. We all find out that it's a standard thing that if you open an email, now today every email service provider says put 8 words. The password should be 8 character there, and character should be lowercase, uppercase, and numbers there. But what do? My name is Gulshan Rai. I put G-R-A-I, or I put 1, 2, 3. That's a bad process, and that process, I mean, helps the kind of a hackers to breach the system, to break the password there. And since the technology is available, the innovations are able to tell the hackers, to allow the hackers or enable the hackers to break the passwords easily if they're flat passwords there. And please remember, every service provider today says 8 character, because the breaking the password, one has to perform in a computing language 2 raised to 8 operations. Look at 2 raised to 8, huge numbers. A hacker will find difficult to do that. So these are the possibilities which are exploited by the hackers to create a cyber security breach there. Next. What are the type of the issues which we face? Ransomware. All of you are facing ransomware. World is facing ransomware. You remember the case of a Merck, a shipping company based out of Hague there. They account for 28% of the shipping container business worldwide. And 3 years ago, their whole system worldwide was jammed because of a ransomware. Somebody pushed a ransomware from some place, from a very simple software called accounting software. The entire system got jammed. And I'm sure all of you are aware of it. The information get lost, your device, you lose the device there, and everything goes out. You have to incur investment. The Hague, the Merck company, they were apprising me that they spent almost $10 million to change their system. They were shipping one laptop every few minutes to different offices. So the ransomware today is a major menace we find in the system, and that is how ransomware, they exploit the vulnerabilities in the software and push it there. Phishing, they prepare the software in such a manner that you write the email, you prepare the web page using the phishing tools to create a exact identity, a replica of your original email. It appears as if it has come from the valid sources, known sources there, but actually it is a fake, and it is pushed to the system so that one clicks and your system gets compromised and the hacker sits into the system. Phishing, vishing, that has become a menace in the world. And I will spoofing is another kind of a thing. I spoof your name, you spoof my name. This is the disadvantage of one of the characteristics of the technology: anonymous, virtual, and borderless. Spoofing is a result of that. And veiling the business email compromises there. So these are the very primitive, these are the very, basic kind of activities which is used to compromise the system. All world over, these are used there. These are standard techniques. I'm going in a seminar, I put my pen drive, I download the ransomware software, I come and install into my system gets in. I get a phishing mail, I click it, ransomware is installed or my data is stolen, then I get a extortion call. that pay so much money, I will decrypt your system there. Same, these are the basic kind of a thing which creates a problem, which give rise to cyber security issues across the sector, across the discipline. Which way is the how we are going to move there? We are going to see a different kind of an environment in time to come. You would have heard that we are moving to Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 will see all kind of technologies, all kind of a software which we have just seen and presented there. And it's a must, as I said, it will give rise to, this is the technological scenario which we are going to see across the sector, across the environment there. And we need to prepare ourselves for that. I have a request. I have a 10 minutes, some statutory requirements. I mean, I want to take and give you a break for 10 minutes. Then we will discuss the kind of what is how the way forward we need to handle it. What are the issues in terms of security which are happening there in detail? We have seen cause of these security issues, and we will see how these are happening, and we will go on. I would request them give me a 10 minutes break.
Well, friends, this is Sandeep Naik. I am chairman of NEDAC. It is such a great pleasure to be associated with our great friends from Kenya, particularly Cusco and its network. ये हटाओ इसको, ये slide को. Actually, when we started discussing about this program with Mr. Magutu and Madam Lynette in the Cusco office about 2 months back, we had conducted a program on cyber security for all the NEDAC member countries. We have now active members are 54 in NEDAC. We discussed them, and at that point of time, Mr. Magutu, he requested that all the Kenyan members of their Cusco, they could not join that program. And we thought that since Kenya SACCOs have very special requirements, and we wanted to have a very dedicated program for Kenyan SACCOs, and that is how this program has unfolded today. Thanks to the guidance that Mr. Magutu gave to NEDAC and duly carried out by Ms. Lynette and Mr. Lija. We're really very happy to be associated with Cusco and all the SACCOs who are present. This program is getting, we're doing it on Zoom platform as well as on YouTube live. So both the platforms, a lot of people are participating. We're very encouraged by that. Then one thing will arise from this. Okay, this is the program, and we learned about many things. And as Dr. Gulshan Rai, the key resource person, he said that Kenya has one of the most advanced IT policies, which I myself have studied. The Kenyan government IT policy and IT ministry guidelines, they're quite advanced. But at the same time, we have to see how our SACCOs are enabled, how the SACCOs get benefit of this IT ecosystem, in which the SACCOs are safe, they start operating in a very safe manner, carry out their businesses. We face these problems in India, in Nepal, in Bangladesh. Everywhere we face the problem of cyber security, cyber risks, at the SACCOs level. The big banks, they invest a lot of money and make their IT networks secure. But smaller organizations, they find it difficult. One of the strategies which in India what we have adopted is to create huge awareness amongst the members about different types of risks. That is, one is the awareness model. Second is the model of creating operating procedures. These are the do's and don'ts. You act like this, and these are the things you should be doing. The standing operating procedures will be doing. The third thing is to enable the different SACCOs. In India, we call them either the secondary level cooperative societies or the primary level cooperative societies, if not the apex ones. So the cooperative societies, we have to enable them both in terms of infrastructure as well as the human resource. In both these cases, our National Cooperative Development Corporation, it plays a role in creation of infrastructure, hardware, software, all kinds of things to support the primary cooperatives and the secondary cooperatives to face the challenges. They are given assistance, which means financial assistance. And on the human resource development front, extensive training programs are conducted on a very detailed manner for handling the cyber security threats and also in handling the day-to-day operations within the SACCOs. So this has been our strategy in India. In Bangladesh and Nepal, we have been interacting through our dear friend Mr. Upreti and his very efficient group of colleagues in the Nepal Cooperative Bank, the National Cooperative Bank of Nepal, and within Bangladesh also the government of Bangladesh in the Rural Development Cooperative Department. We have been interacting very well. In Philippines, we have been associated with the Apex Authority, Cooperative Development Authority, as well as the Federation of different cooperatives. So this has been our strategy. Maybe in CUSCO, they may study this strategy, how it is working in South Asia, Asia Pacific area, and maybe they would like to adopt similar things for their SACCOs in Kenya. I wanted to highlight these points primarily because I wanted to see what is to be done. And at this point of time, I would also like to request our Ambassador, Mr. Ambassador Trigunayat, to expand on how he looks at the cyber security issues coming into different aspects of our functioning across the NADAC countries and particularly Kenya. Ambassador Trigunayat, before our Dr. Gulshan Rai joins back. Thank you. Please switch on. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In fact, the whole world is today not only reeling with pandemic, but is also going to face major challenges in terms of cyber security risks. And they happen generally because of a little less attention that we pay to our day-to-day conduct as far as interacting on the internet is concerned. Very often we are not even using various firewalls or the software systems that can prevent it. And that is the reason that because one of the key problems that one has always faced is the software piracy. Very often people have been wanting to take the software through clandestine sources, and that happens in most developing countries. And that software often is not up to date because there are patches that are being provided to by various vendors from time to time if it is a genuine software. Even the Windows and all have their own software system. So therefore, at the individual level, when somebody is using that in the office or in the cooperatives or in any departments, or for his own, whether it is in the mobile phone or on the laptops or the computer systems, if the adequate protection is not taken, genuine software is not done, then we face these kind of problems which can compromise the whole system. We have often heard that there was a recent case when Iran's nuclear facility had a fire. Now, obviously, there are conspiracy theorists, but some of them said that it may be the US-Israeli cyber attack, or something that happened in Russia at one time, that the whole power system went down completely. And that was also a cyber attack. We have seen that cyber hackers and the attackers have been operating all over. Funds are being transferred from one account to the other without you even knowing about it. So this is something for which people work overtime. I know that in Russia, they used to have many good hackers. And one of the Yahoo CEOs, I remember saying once that I would be happy to even interview a Russian programmer, even if I had to do so at the midnight. Now, that is the kind of situation that one should always remember that while the law are being made, the people who break the law are a step ahead often. And that is why the problem with the software development is it provides you the ease of doing business, ease of interaction, but at the same time, it creates a major problem when we are dealing with these threats. And these cyber threats can compromise the whole system. It can bring everything, whatever one tries to build, to a knot within no time. Now, African countries also have an IT policy at the AU level, and I'm sure Kenya is one of the countries that is very advanced. And as Mr. Chairman has said it, and so did Dr. Gulshan Rai, that the Kenyans and South Africans and Nigerians, some of the countries have done remarkably well as far as the cyber security is concerned. But at the same time, we have seen the cyber security threats also coming out from some of these countries. For example, the people are sending these kind of phishing mails and very attractive mails, which is called the 419 scamsters. Now, you have to be extremely careful that they make you very rosy promises and you fall for it, and then you go in. Very often they gave you offers which are very difficult to, on the face of it, to even just ignore, and people fall for it. That is essentially the human nature, and then you lose out tremendously. It's compromised because you share your account details, or you'll end up paying something out of greed or out of compulsion. So therefore, it is extremely important that all of us, whenever we are interacting in the cyberspace, must take basic precautions that have been already mentioned in the past, and they need to be worked closely all the time. In fact, you have to be cautious today, and it's going to be much more as we move to the Industry Revolution 4.0 or Agriculture 4.0, in which the more and more artificial intelligence tools will be deployed. And therefore, it is important and an imperative for all of us to be careful and cautious. And this is, while the individual sometimes, especially at the cooperative level, may not be aware about it, it is the responsibility of the associations and the major offices that the systems are updated from time to time. I would like to say that we need, the only thing that can prevent it is updated patches, updated systems, security systems, and our own cautious approach in handling various transactions over the net. Thank you once
again. Thank you, Ambassador. I think at this point of time, there are a lot of people from the SACCOs. There now, it's the participation, at least on this platform, other than the live YouTube live platform, has reached the maximum limit. If anyone of the participants wants to say something, maybe I'll request them before Dr. Rai joins back. Any participant wants to say anything? We have so many from different SACCOs of Kenya. Kindly speak if you want to say something. Mr. Elijah?
Not for now. Maybe we can take the questions after.
Yeah. There is a separate question and answer session. But
Yes.
Anybody wants to make any observation? This is actually many people would like to share their experience. That is also one of the opportunity to learn from each other if they want to say anything as an observation.
Yeah, maybe we can have we can hear your experience on how you've been able to orient your staff in terms of awareness creation to cyber issues, because much of the threats with cyber risks is mostly from insider and more so staff. So how have you been able to manage that particular aspect? Maybe we can hear your experience, because once you manage it from the inside, then from the outside becomes a bit difficult to penetrate an institution. So maybe we can hear your experience on that.
Okay, I meant to say you want to hear our experience as a National Cooperative Development Corporation, because that is I'm managing director of this organization also. So let me talk about our own experience, how we handle the cyber security issues within our own organization. First of all, let me talk about our hardware part of it. Our hardware, we always we have a system of procuring hardware only from the authorized original equipment manufacturers, their vendors. So we do not go for any subcontractors or something like that. So it is always the original equipment manufacturer that we have to procure from there. Second thing is the hardware maintenance contracts are always with us. This is always long term. We don't give them short term contract of 1 year or something like that. It will always be long term. Third thing is all our data, the data recovery centers and our data storage, those are very closely guarded and closely supervised by authorized people. So broadly, as far as hardware is concerned, we do this. As far as software is concerned, we have, even though today we are upgrading to the latest firewall system, as we speak today, our upgradation is on to the latest firewall systems in the world. But firewall is just one part of the system. The entire software, our entire ecosystem, we have created our own networks across India. We have regional offices all across the country. They have dedicated access to our servers. We have our own servers. We don't allow others to handle our servers, or we don't hire servers with others. Next comes the human being part of it. What Mr. Elijah, you said that internal people are the people who leak out and things like that. For our dedicated team of IT experts, so one of our officers is participating as the young moderator of this webinar. There is very elaborate standing operating procedure for them. These are checked, rechecked, test checked, all kinds of checks and surprise checks are done. This is one part in our standing operating procedure. At the same time, we have also ISO certification auditors from outside. They are international auditors. There will be surprise visitors, surprise checks they will be conducting on us for our ISO certification. These are the things which we do for our own people, and our own people, everybody has a very secure and login password. Everybody's forensic is tested, what he or she does in the office, which system he accesses, and what he or she is sending emails or doing what. So those are closely monitored. At the next level is the training part of it. We have a dedicated training academy in Delhi, and it has got different regional branches across the country. That is our own training academy. We have dedicated people. The training academy is headed by an colonel of Indian Army. So our systems, we try to make it very robust and very secure. The training is a very long run process. People are trained, retrained, retrained. If I can share this much with you and all the participants from Kenya, this is our experience in NCDC. Maybe you would also like to tell us how Cusco and SACOs, they do the cybersecurity issue. Thank you. Mr. Magutu or Mr. Elijah, do you want to talk?
I'm all right. We'll discuss during a question and answer time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can also get to hear experiences from different circles during Q&A.
Yes,
so
yes.
Yes.
Well, that is very useful because learning from each other's mistakes is also a training. Cusco, does it have its own training academy or training institution?
Yes, we have actually a training department as a union. And its main mandate basically is to take care of the training needs of all our members who are the SACOs.
Okay.
And we normally have a curriculum prepared every year that we roll out in terms of training activities. And it ranges from IT and cyber-related issues, operations, credit management, financial management, leadership and governance. So we cover that kind of a scope, and it ranges from training of board members.
Okay.
Yeah, subcommittees within the boards, and we also look at the staff of the SACOs and the ordinary members in terms of member education days. So that's the kind of curriculum that we have and we offer to our members.
And all these trainings are done in what? Your language, national language, or you have regional languages also? You conduct the training in?
Yes, our national language is Swahili and the official language is English. So we use both in all our training centers, and we have this conducted to all SACOs nationally. So we have national trainings, also we have regional trainings conducted at the regional level, because we have in our case, we've divided our country into 5 geographic regions. So the SACOs that will not be able to participate in the national activities, then they're able to participate at the regional level. And again, this is categorized in terms of budget and also duration. So we conduct from 1-day trainings to 1-week trainings. Yes. And it cuts across all those categories. And what we do, we invite experts. Like today, we have Dr. Gulshan talking to us about cyber risks, and we have experts cutting across all those areas, sharing their experience with us. And that's how we're able to build the capacity of our members to continue offering better services. We also have what we call annual conferences. And again, this is now where we bring all the leadership of the circles. And that's a forum now where our national chairman, Mr. George Magutu, basically presides or chairs. And again, he's able now to, through his office, able to invite experts also to share trending issues that affect the sector. We also invite policymakers, legislators to also share their experiences on how we can manage the sector much better. So in a nutshell, that's basically what we do as a department. Yes.
Okay. That's very challenging, I must say. A lot of challenges to handle the entire country.
Yes.
Yeah. Because in India, we have, why I wanted to know about regional languages, because India has more than 1,200 languages, and all these about million odd cooperative societies, primary level, they have different requirements. It's a mind-boggling. Not that everything we handle, we don't handle everything, but we do have the similar problems of handling training programs in different languages across the country. Our national language is Hindi, but across the country, everybody understands also English, and we have regional languages. Dr. Gulshan Rai is back. I think now we should, I'll request Ms. Kat to reintroduce the keynote speaker and our resource person, Dr. Gulshan Rai. Ms. Kat.
I would like to invite again Dr. Gulshan Rai to present the cyber risk mitigation strategy lesson learned from Asia for Kenyan Cooperatives. Dr. Gulshan, please.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kat. And I'm sorry I had to be away from the break my presentation because I had to do certain statutory duty there. So we have seen what is the way forward there. Now let us see in this way forward what are happening there. Next. During the initial phase when we were, I think Mr. George Mugwe, he made a comment about and Mr. Opreti also made a comment about the pandemic and the cyber. Now, during the last 3 or 4 months, across the world, there has been a significant rise in the cyber attacks there. We have seen almost the 1,200% rise in the cyber attacks or the cyber incident of various nature. That's what we have seen. And this has come up because of the work from home culture. No one was prepared to deal with that kind of a culture. The systems we use for the from home culture, they were never secured. The applications were never structured to deal with those kind of a requirement. As a result, the hackers found easy way to exploit those applications, either in the network or in the software or in the hardware, including the modems there, the modems which we use at home to dial up connections there, to steal the data, and we saw such a steep rise, which was not imagined in December 2019, 12% increase in the incident we have seen abroad. And you can see these are the figures for the cooperative banks there. and the 100% is cumulative figure for the cooperative system across the world. There could be some estimation, but by and large, the figures is correct. You can see what kind of a thing which we have observed. The various nature of the breaches has happened there. Various nature of breaches have been happened, and the 200% in the past 12 weeks. That's what has happened, and these are the figure handled by one of the companies in India and the associated companies, security companies worldwide there. These are the figure not by me, but these are the figure who have defended such kind of incidents there. Actually, the incidents will be much more there. Next. Now, what kind of a things has been seen is that again email spoofing, spamming has gone, email bombing has happened, sending malicious codes through emails, business mail compromise, man in the middle attack to take over the system, and the threatening email, defamatory email, phishing and wishing. These kind of crimes have been seen and rise in the last couple of months. But these are the crimes which normally happens. Only during this time, numbers have gone up significantly. Next. New types of the crimes have happened or incidents happen. We all use OTT, lockdown positions are there. We have to kill our time, while away our time. We all go to the OTT platforms, and malls are shut down, and we need to watch the entertainment or the movies or the serials or the some sort of a video program there. So innovate all those, the Netflix or the Amazon Prime or the Disney, Sony Live, all kind of a programs which are now broadcasting there, which are relaying there. All of them have found a problem, and I am giving you one example where the actual user tried to log into the Netflix and the validation failed because account was hijacked. An account hijacking happened through the modem, which was connected to the internet from a house, from the premises from where the program was being watched. So, in new innovative ways of finding it. So, as a result, the credentials were stolen, passwords were stolen, names were stolen, and one can see unauthorized the Netflix or the OTT platform. We have heard in India about certain video software. You also would have heard certain video software that sessions being hijacked and intercepted and using another type of content. So pandemic and the use of work from home, the heavy use of IT has made the hackers to think innovatively to create the incidents. Next. Actually, we have moved in this kind of a environment where you lock the room, everyone sees a genuine legitimate person. They least that the lock, there is a lock and the door is locked and there's nothing, no thief is going there. There is a consistency in locking comprehensively, continuously, collaboratively. Nobody looks at these factors there. But actually, if you look at it, something is missing in this. As a result, the hackers can enter the room, the lock has no meaning. So someone who has locked the room, he has not followed the consistent process. He has not looked at the entire thing comprehensively, whether my latch is properly latched or whether my lock is proper, door is properly done. It has not been seen there. These are a simple example I'm trying to give you that what we will see in the way forward, these cases will come up because of the heavy use of this software. Next. If you look at this world map, you find the different boundaries, and different boundaries are shown by different colors. But when we look at the virtual world, you find a different kind of a boundary is there. There is no boundary. Everything is a continuous one. The hackers from different places, different locations are coming and entering the system there. They are in fact they're collaborating each other, colluding each other, and trying to create skills of the hackers, so-called anonymous hackers, and they're trying to steal the information. Friends, please remember, this industry has three particular characteristics. The data is stolen, data is monetized, and that's where we meet our operational cost. Whether it's a hacker or a IT company or IT vendor or a service provider, they all take away the data in one or the other form and try to monetize the operations, try to meet the cost of their operation. There. And data is taken, posted on the dark nets, on the dark web there, which are hidden kind of a networks on the internet, and you can access only through different particular specialized software and plugins there. And these are all underground economy, and the size of the underground economy, as I was told, is somewhere around $500 billion worldwide. That's what this scenario is there. Next. See, you have, I don't know, we in India we play the this checkers, cross checkers. We played that, the ladders and snake we play. I'm sure you all will be, many of you would have played the snakes and ladders there. The entire scenario which I explained, which I presented before you, I tried to present in the form of a conventional snakes and ladders there. And I have been playing, many of you will be playing right at the childhood there. At every step, at every point, there is a snake in the form of a cyber hacker who is ready, who is ever ready to bite you and bring you back. This is exactly I have explained, and I think I will post this slide. I will request the chairman Nidak to post this slide on the web, on their website, so you can see what need to be done. What are the dangers and what is the solution for each danger? How do we avoid it? Exactly, our scenario is like the checks in the form of snakes and the ladders. If you perform well, and this reflects the risk factors also there. If you address those challenges, if you address the risk factor, you can reach at the top without being bitten by a snake in the form of the hackers there. Next. Friends, in terms of the entire thing, looking at the innovation and the technologies, we are far away. You can see where we are and where we need to go. And in the way forward, which I explained, we need to be there at the top of the curve. If we still remain at the bottom of the curve, the whole way forward will be meaningless to us, and it will be degrade. It will be kind of a not using the technologies properly and bringing much disaster to our society. Next. Now, I will just explain to you the cyber security matrix for all of you to see. You find different scenarios in the world. In your banks, in your organization, you find different scenario, and I have tried to put the entire scenario in the 4 factor. Next. The first factor is, you see there is a picture of prisoner. In an organization, the cyber security management function does not exist at all. Everything is outsourced as a part of the IT culture. Everything is outsourced. There is no checks and balance of the outsource. There is no proper contract. There is no proper service level agreements. No one is monitoring one IT company is performing, which manner the company is performing. This is the another company. There is no coordination at all between different IT service vendors and the employees of the company. As a result, the issue arises there. Even if one is aware of the cyber security, but if the function doesn't exist in the company, there is no well appreciation in the company, it will be a simple case of a prisoner. I may have a funds, I may have a tools. If I don't know how to coordinate, how to perform the functions, I will be the organization will be prisoners. the way I have explained. Next. Look at the second kind of a scenario, which the organization lacks resources to implement. They have the understanding, but there is no resources. The cyber management program is not activated. There is no appreciation of the management to enforce the principles there. Each one is knowledgeable, but coordination is not there. There is no resources to do that. In that case also, we will be falling short in the way forward which I have presented to you, which way we are leading to. Next scenario. There is a security guards. All the cooperative institutions, all organizations, they are being regulated by some regulator. Regulator provides the compliance rules there. The companies have to perform the rules under the regulation of the company law. The governments ask the companies to perform, organization to perform certain rules, regulation. So the organization and companies are strictly focused on the compliance. The statement is taken, tick, tick, tick. Nobody looks at how the rules, how the compliance is done. There no one applies the mind, and everything look at purely the compliance angle. And I will give you an example. You have a security management system called a Basel function for the banks there. Today they implement the Basel function 2, 3. There is a ISO 27001 security management policy. There is ISO 9001 kind of a standard. One form the mere lip service to implement the standard, declare the standard there. In India, most of the banks say 27001 compliant, but actually no one goes through the detailed process, no one puts out the processes there, and no one looks at the other aspects of the security comprehensively. So there is a security guard in the form of a regulator who says, and you perform the action, but actually the organization is not secure in the true sense. Next. Who is the superhero? The cyber security is identified as an important part of the company strategy. Management is aware of the impact of the importance of cyber security, of the ICT. There is a well-entrenched program to train the people. The entire equipment is secure, properly configured. They perform the compliance rules, and the staff is vigilant about it. The CEO is well aware of the pitfall. If we don't secure the company, what will happen? And today, in the way forward, we need this kind of a superhero to perform. So this is a kind of a matrix which we need to look at it in the time to come, which has already ticked onward. Thank you. Next. So what security functions we need to perform? So we need to build cybersecurity into business value chain. We don't have to implement security the way we implement in our civil structure. Subsequently, we look at it. We need to put design security at the time of designing it. The way we put in our civil structure, proper size of window, proper corridors, proper kind of a fire alarms. We do that in a civil structure. Similarly, we need to build security right at the time of building designing the system, designing the assets or architecture of the system or the network. That's what we need to do. In the entire business value chain, we need to do, whether it's a marketing or back-end operations or any other operations, we need to build that value chain. We need to enable the new technology operating platform and comply with and integrate innovations which we are seeing it. If we don't apply the patches, if we don't upgrade our systems with the newer technology, our system will remain the old system, legacy system, and it will get in the hand of the hackers there. Frame cybersecurity policy. Look at what functions of the company. No single cybersecurity policy will be applicable across the board. The regulator or the different kind, the organization, leading organization, they may give you a framework, but actually within those framework, as may be functions applicable, each of the organization need to prepare the cybersecurity policy. Some of the companies may have a different type of a risk. Some sensitive, high security company, we have a more risk, which is dealing with the sensitive data, sensitive information. Their security policy will be much more rigid, much more sophisticated. Risk factor will be more. So those risk factor, high risk factor, will need to be imbibed in the security policy. So every organization has to adopt, has to prepare the security policy accordingly. Implement those security practices stringently, and I mean without any lapses there. We need to implement security practices. We don't only need to implement, we need to get it audited at frequent intervals, particularly at the time of upgrading the software, upgrading the network, but minimum once in a year. That's the international norm there. And then we need to prepare quantitative risk. We need to keep on evaluating the risk for our decision making, and these risks will keep on changing. As the company moves up in the value chain, risk factor will change, risk factor will undergo a different kind of a transformation there. And as I said, the different organization will have a different risk factor. We need to look at it, review it, and keep on doing it. And that's why I said the role of CTO and CEO is going to combine. It's a matter of year and so. That's what we are going to look at in the way forward, and there's a need for cybersecurity functions. Next. Now we need to look at what standards which are applicable to our organization. 27001 standard, ITL standard, most of us knows that. India has the maximum number of 27001 because a large country, large organizations are there. India has mandated that every organization, cooperative sector and the banks will comply with the 27001 standards there. Now 27001 standard, people look at it, it's a framework. Each organization look at the standards and frame policy. We need to look at the controls in the standard and implement those controls the way depending upon our strategy, our activity or risk we face. It will change with the risk factor, with the nature of the organization. That we need to do. That's a must. Then there are technology standards, niche standards are there when we're dealing with the government. And then there are the quality standard, the CMM standard, which are given there. Today, CMM is replaced by the CMI, which terms of the quality of the software. CMM is not a security standard, but it's quality standard, the processes and the services standard. So these are the international standard, which we need to look at it and need to implement which one is more suitable and applicable to us. That's the need of the time, and we will have to do that in the what we see the way forward and when it comes to innovation of technologies. Next. Now when we look at the complex kind of architecture every organization has there, we may have to change the structure of the application in the office, because if you are operating from home, operating from the office only, then everything within the office, we are on a local area network. The IP addresses are well known. We can configure the IP addresses, whitelist them, block the unwanted kind of activities there, and everyone is approachable. All computer systems are in force. But when we look at the work from home culture, which is going to be there, remote kind of a working culture there, application will have to change. We need to re-engineer, restructure the application and introduce security in those applications there. And we need to monitor the access to the systems and the networks. We need to monitor the incidents which are happening to the system, and we require a kind of a central security operations center. That's what we need to have approach. Every organization, smaller or bigger, will need the central security center, smaller or bigger, depending upon the risk or depending upon the nature of activities they perform, volume of transaction. Some large organization will have a dedicated in-house, And some smaller organization may have a kind of they join together, they collaborate, or they can hire the services of a vendor who should provide them the security operations services there. And what we need to see, who is detect vulnerabilities there, data who is data exfiltration is happening, who is giving the access control, permission, not permission, and who is violating it. Look at the policy violation there, threat monitoring, and the situational kind of a seriousness or the awareness, what we need to see. We need to protect the devices. That's what the central SOC will do, that a security op center will do that. Protect devices, so endpoint security, perimeter security by virtue of firewalls, or the intrusion prevention system, antivirus systems there, or the application, web application firewall. We need to look at, protect our devices, and then how do we respond? We need to respond to incident. If some sort of incident team is needed, every organization, depending upon its volume of operation, depending on the size of the operations there, everyone will have some arrangement need to be there. So we need to have a incident response. A smaller organization may take the services of other organization. They may all come together to form one common incident team there and report the incident, and team will guide them how to mitigate, how to recover from incident. So we need to have a detection facility, protection kind of approach, and the response so mitigated. That's what every organization today needs it, because we have deployed technologies, and as I said, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, and the 5G is going to present a very, very challenging kind of scenario. Next. Now, this is the incident reporting and response process. Of course, we will host this kind of a slides on the website. You can look at it, how the incident response team will, what the incident process are there. One should be aware of it, train the people. Not only this, if you are setting up your incident response dedicated team, we need to see that all features or all the steps are implemented. If you are trying to avail the services of an outside vendor, we need to see that the vendor perform these functions and provide services to us in a secure manner and secure our system. Next. This is the kind of an onboarding process is there. What all checks and balances we need to do. So we need to do the performance parameter. We gather the performance there, information, we gather it. Perform this device integration, how the devices are integrated, how the computer locks are done to analyze the security issues, rules of configuration, real-time monitoring, incident monitoring, and the coordination recovery with other organizations there. We need to learn. So this is a process, and this process, as I have been saying repeatedly, will depend on the size of the organization, size of the operations, and nature of the operation. Not that everyone will have the same, but the activities will be same. Someone may put in-house, someone may use services of another one. That also we need to grow in today's world. Next. The most important, when I entered this room after the break, I was finding the chairman in India talking about the capacity and skill development. So the skill development of the employees, of the people handling technologies there or helping in security issues is the foremost important. Then they need to be trained. The programmer need to be trained how to build security in the design. The security professional need to be trained to handle the different technology which are coming up. The next generation firewall and different than the legacy firewall systems there. The next generation, antivirus systems are different. They're all working different. Partly signature, partly different items there. Sandboxes happen. So the skill development of the people is a important and essence of the time. It's a continuous kind of affair. We need to do that. There are different kind of issues there. We need to capability build there. We need to customize it, and we need to entire skill need to coverage. That's a must we need to do. Next. What industry need to do? need to appreciate the impact of technology, social and customer trends there. Any breach will impact a lot of customers, lot of market standing of the company or the organization. We need to consider collective vision, and collectively we need to work. Some incident may happen to me. You should know the incident. We need to share the information. We need to work together in all aspects of the technology, understand the technology, and we need to invest in the new capabilities in the future version of the manpower, which I have said what I have presented to you so far. Next. I thought I will discuss with you, friends. I'm not frightening you. The technology is mind-boggling. The incidents which are happening in the mind-boggling. Smaller or a larger organization. The very fact you have seen is well known that during the pandemic COVID-19, the incidents have significantly rise. I mean, I have the company says 200%, you may say 200%, but there is an agreement all across the board that the numbers have gone up significantly there. Complexities are arising there in all aspects there. So, and we need to use the technology, we need to deploy the technology, we need to update the technology. This is we need to consider it, and we need to move way forward there. How we can help you? The NCDC, the chairman NIDAC is well aware about. He is well charged up use the tools of technology. They can help you in variety of manners, and one of the way is that we are now meeting, talking together. It's a kind of awareness, talking the pitfall, what issues there, how to implement it there. Certainly, I'm sure the NIDAC will discuss how the member countries can collaborate, work together, help each other in terms of technology absorption, technology adoption, or implementing security, or providing help to each other. I really thank the organizer, Chairman NIDAC, and all the functionaries from NIDAC to invite me and present my views to all of you. I am open now. I am here. Anyone is, if he has someone question, I'm prepared to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gelshen, for your excellent presentations. Now, I would like to invite Nihil to start the question and answer session. Mr. Nihil, please.
Thank you. Sir, many participants have raised this question. What are the cyber risk mitigation strategies, particularly for saving and credit cooperatives in Kenya?
As I explained during my presentation, the risks may arise from the software which you deploy, hardware you deploy, process you perform there, and I explained the risks there. And I have said very categorically, each organization will have its own degree of risk there. Everyone will not have the same risk. So the risk we need to analyze, and we need to know the risk each organization wide. Every organization will have to conduct their own study, assess the risk, and follow the process which I have explained during my presentation there. Of course, I will request the chairman NIDAC to host this presentation on the website. See that everyone will have to look at the processes and mitigate its own risk.
Thank you, sir. Second question is, how to enhance cyber security with increased use of technology like mobile banking, apps, and internet banking?
Thank you very much. I have explained a lot of steps which we need to put in our systems when we use the technology. Yes, the aspect relating to mobile has not been specifically covered there, but the issue relating to mobile becomes a little more complex than using the laptop or any other such fixed devices are there. We are operating in the era of where the applications are accessed through apps there. The apps culture is increasing there. Apps are hosted at Google Play Store. Everyone access the app from the Play Store, and we all know that I mean, lot of apps have been removed, taken away from the Google Play Store by the Google itself because they were spreading the malwares there. That poses another challenge of the mobile phone. The second challenge comes up that each one of us is found of, particularly younger generation, is found of downloading different kind of apps, entertainment apps, all kind of activities we perform on the mobile phone there. And every mobile phone is a bit risky. So we need to be very, very careful that what kind of activity we perform through our mobile system, and we need to be very, very careful to download the apps. In market, there are some solutions available to pre-warn you the integrity and the nature of the app there, how safe is to secure the app. Every computing vendor company, whether it's a Google or a Microsoft or a Firefox, the browser companies, they are adding a toolbar. They embed the signature and they warn you whether this application is safe, going to that particular website is safe, and I'm sure this kind of a feature is going to be enabled in the apps also there. Those need to be followed, but till such time those measures comes up, we have to be very, very careful in downloading the apps on the mobile phone. Our mobile system should be installed with the antivirus software so that good kind of antivirus systems available. We don't have to use the open source kind of internet download. We need to be very, very careful that we don't download the open source software of any nature until unless is validated and we understand how to use that technology, how to protect our operation, or how do we secure the use by using that open source software. I think many of those steps will be needed if we more so in the mobile culture or the anytime, anywhere banking kind of studies. This need to be done. We need to be consistent. We need to be we need to confirm the process, and we don't have to short these things.
Thank you, sir. Now the next question is, what is the best way to administer DMJ in a network with VPN?
See, the two factors are different. DMZ zone and the VPN are different. VPN gives you some kind of a security in terms of the accessing the network on the network, that no one is unauthorizedly able to access the systems there. That's the VPN. VPN gives you a facility to authenticate your systems when you connect to the central system. That gives you some sort of authentication. There are VPNs available commercially. There are customized VPN. The larger or the bigger organization gets the VPN customized to their requirements there. They added it because, as I said, it helps in first layer of authentication and authorizations there. So the use of VPN in today's environment, particularly in the work from home and remote culture, is a must, is the essence of the time we must use it. Now, DMZ zone is installed to segregate your computing from the rest of the systems in organizations there. Your database server, your main computing server, internet application server, your domain name server, they are all kept in a zone we call a demilitarized zone there, which is protected through the firewalls or through different perimeter security. There are rules of accessing the DMZ zone. So all the communication which is being, all the systems and the communication being made in the DMZ zone it is preferable and it is recommended that we go through the VPN. Okay, that's number one. Number two, different machines, different computer system installed in the DMZ zone, it should be monitored in terms of application, in terms of services, which I have presented in my presentation. They must be secure, system must be upgraded, patches must be applied regularly, they must be monitored through the security operation system. But the thumb rule is that each of these computer system, computer server installed in the DMZ zone should be accessed by going through the firewall. Don't connect them directly. They need to be connected on the network, and have to pass through the firewall if I have to connect to another system hosting another applications there. That's a must. So we need to have the VLAN, virtual private network, into the system. Every switch, network switch, and every device provides for a VLAN facilities there. Different ports are there. We configure the VLAN. So VPN, VLAN, putting the security around the computer system in the DMZ zone is a must in today's environment, apart from the implementing the processes, auditing and monitoring the security incident which are taking place.
Thank you, sir. Next question is, how can blockchain technology be adopted in the cooperatives to safeguard against cyber threats?
Now, blockchain technology, as I said, is largely authorization and authentication. But it is said to be very safe and secure technology, where the authentication happens at different stages. There is no single point authentication. And and I think we know all the concept of blockchain. It's an open ledger, it's a distributed ledger, distributed kind of authentication happens there. But there are some pitfalls of the blockchain technology. Now, this finding applications across the applications, the e-cash, the digital currency, the Bitcoin, deploy the blockchain technology, so-called the Bitcoin, Ethernet. This kind of a different technology comes up, the blockchain. The application that's distributed, we use the application in a blockchain, use the blockchain to design our applications there. So the land records in India, we are trying to use the technology for land records because authentication is needed. It is authenticated, validated at different locations, and different transactions are at different locations are recorded. So any manipulation of that technology or the record becomes almost impossible. But over a period of time, the misuse also is growing there. The rogue blocks have come up in the blockchain technology, which authenticates the transactions there. So the technology has a promising, is a promising technology, very useful application, very secure, but we need to see that its misuse is also addressed as we move on. It has a good application in the cooperative sector, particularly for your users, and more so for securing your application in your premises.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how do we enforce cybersecurity policies for our employees to follow?
The first enforcement is in terms of the service rules, that they will have to perform this function. We must deploy people who are computer literate, train them at the time of induction, and expose them to the technological pitfall in a regular manner. There should be a manual, a SOP, so which should be provided to every employee, and they need to adhere to that SOP in all possible manners there, in a strict manner, in letter and spirit, that need to be followed. Accountability, responsibility need also to be assigned for any lapse in the process there, because the entire chain, technology plays 50% role in securing the entire transactions. Technology plays 15 to 20%, and the rest of the percent part is played by the peoples and the management, which is somewhere around 35%, 35 to 40%. That role is played by the people. So skilling people, creating awareness, them monitoring the people is a must in today's world and the way forward.
Thank you, sir. Since in the today's environment, most of the organizations, they are allowing their employees to work from home. So what are the risks that is involved in work from home and how to mitigate it?
Now, I have explained the kind of risks which have been involved. The first of all, we need to ensure that we don't copy any software and download the apps. Open source software, I have said it, because these are all cause of vulnerabilities and compromising a cause of the incidents there. Our mobile system or the laptop from where we perform, it should be secure by putting the updates, patches, and antivirus software. It's a must. The second aspect, we need to see the connectivity, the dial-up modem, dial-up connection should be secure so that no one is able to get access to my mobile system through the compromised router and completely spoil the systems there. These are the two things which is a must. The device from where you're performing the office function, working from home, should preferably be separate than a personal use device or a personal mobile system. Or my official function should be performed preferably on a separate system than a personal function. And we must ensure that while we are performing the official function, my family members or anyone unknown person, untrustworthy person, be not near to the system or to the camera. The camera should be on. Authentication, authorization to the camera should be made the must there, and that the authorization and the authentication to the person working from home should keep on happening regularly throughout the day while performing the activities. The office has to see that the systems at home, at the offices, they should be secure. Application structure need to be a built-in security. A checks and balance need to be done at a different level so that there is no compromise happening from a remote login or by hacker who is trying to enter the system remotely.
Thank you, sir. These were the questions which we had received from the participant. Now I request if any participant is having any further questions, they may kindly ask.
Yes, one, Nihil.
Yes, sir.
Who is a custodian of the IT policy in an organization?
The ISO 27001 standard, which is the international standard. ISO is international. It recommends that the organization must designate the chief information officer and the chief security officer. The functions of the chief information officer and the chief security officers should be separated out. Both of them should report to a different person. While the CIO may report to the overall officer whose responsibility is IT, but the CSO security person should report to the CEO of the company. That's a recommendation. But in a smaller organization, the roles can be changed. A different function, you will not have to put two different CIOs and CSOs. The management had to see how to separate it out. But the role of the person who should handle the security policy, it's of the chief security officer of the organization, who should be responsible for the framing of the cybersecurity policy, implementation of the security policy, audit of the security policies. That policy, once framed and approved by the board, it should be provided to the CIO who is implementing the IT systems, and that official need to comply with the policies in letter and spirit. The CIO implementing the policy must also do the monitoring and auditing at his level apart from the CSO. But so to answer one single point, it's the chief security officer in the organization who is responsible for the cyber security policy, framing, implementing, compliance.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions? Yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Maybe just so to further explain to us when it comes to mobile banking, when you have an app, especially on Play Store, the risks that may arise, how do we mitigate against them so that we reduce the risk of loss of funds from members who try and use the app to apply for loans? Thank you.
As I said, today you have tools available in the market which gives you the background of the app there, and one has to implement the appropriate kind of a security measures in the mobile system to warn you the unauthorized or infected kind of apps there. There are systems available and need to be installed in the mobile system to do that. But more important is that there should be a security architecture implemented into the banks which checks the communication or the information coming from the mobile system, whether it is a infected system. That at the gateway level, those security checks or the malicious check need to be performed. So one aspect is the mobile owner need to be careful by putting the antivirus software or be careful about the app. He should download the app from an authorized source. That's the first requirement for the mobile. And that is where the banks need to help their users also. And banks need to create awareness to the users also. Maybe do's and don'ts they have to provide the mobile users. But the banks need to implement appropriate, adequate security on their side, because most of the time the user may not be in a position to follow strictly those processes there. Every mobile phone, I said, is a compromise. One app, how does it behave with another app, the user may not be knowing about it. So the larger task is the service provider who has to monitor those messages or the connectivity coming from a mobile phone, building the checks and balance to technology, building the security at the application level, and passing through different gateways before it goes to the internet server there or the transaction server. There will be web server, there will be internet server, there will be database server, and all of them have to be in the DM zone, JMZ zone, as I explained. So the responsibility in case of mobile is more on the service provider, the banks, lesser degree on the user, but both of them had the equal responsibility.
Thank you, sir.
Have I answered the question, or you want more details? Hello?
Yes, you have answered, but more details would be nice so that we're able to, for example, you talked of the need for a system that can do the checks. And I don't know whether you mean a system that can be able to warn the bank that maybe there's a well, a mobile user who is not authorized, is not a bank holder, for example?
No, one has to install today the software, antivirus software which are available. They provide you anti-phishing kind of a blocks also. They give you. So one has to see that antivirus software which we install in our mobile phones must be of a good company, not from the open source kind of environment. That's what the bank has to prescribe that for the mobile users there. So these antivirus software, they warn you the anti-phishing kind of apps also there. At the same time, guide them that they must go to the Google Play Store and look at the rating of the rating of the apps there. They also give the ratings of the apps there. There are public sources which provide the rating of the apps there. And I mean, and those phishing and anti-phishing kind of things, I think the bank will have to make out a do's and don't list and provide to the users and warn them on time to time, alert them on time to do that. So there are multiple things which we need to be done.
Any more questions, participants?
Yeah, I think
this is Isaac. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Elijah. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please speak.
Yeah, this is Isaac from Dudu Sacco in Kenya. Mine was about this. Suppose the system you are using in your organization, you can only work with it in the office, but you cannot work at home with the same system. What happens just in case you see if a scenario comes, maybe something has happened on cyber crime, like we explained here, and you are not aware. In the following day, when you go to the office, you find that the machine is not working. Probably those malwares that you've mentioned or the phishing has happened in your system. What are the mechanisms that we need to put in place? Because there are systems, well, the CMIS systems, you find that you can only work with it from the office, but you cannot work while at home with the same system. What happens?
No, as I said, preferably the system which we use either from the office or work from home should be same, but at times the system you use in the office may be a desktop system, whereas at home you use the laptop systems there. But the system which you use either at office or at home for the official work should be segregated from personal use. That's one I have said it. And the system must have appropriate security techniques and software installed into that. And security should be built in at the office level or the computer system level to which it is being those are being accessed or being connected. But at the same time, I have also explained that there should be a need for monitoring the incident there. If a malware is happening, if there is a malware in the system installed at either in the laptop at home or the systems in the office, those malwares would be monitored to the traffic, and that traffic need to be monitored by the Security Operations Center, either in-house or a separate outside the office. It need to be monitored. In any malware, the data will be going to somewhere else. If I am doing transactions in my office, if there is no malware, there will be one type of a signatures of the communication. But if we are doing work from home with a malware, there will be a different type of a signature of the communication messages there. So if we monitor, we will know the malware. Well, once it is noticed a malware, the incident should be reported to the national CERT of that country as early as possible. The system should be segregated so that the malware be identified and appropriate security measures need to be taken. If it is a crime, then we need to inform the police also. So the emergency operation comes up. The agencies need to be informed. First information need to be made to the officer assigned in the company to look after the security issues or incident issues. We need to report the incident, segregate the system, don't use the system. And then that officer who is assigned the responsibility, he will take the steps as per the manual which the company will make, or as the policy to how to handle the incident, how to mitigate the incident by informing the national search or the police or other appropriate agency there. But reporting the incident is a must. Segregating the incident is a must. You yourself cannot do, and users cannot start mitigating it. He should not mitigate, he should not even attempt to mitigate it. Incident happens, he should report the concerned authorities, concerned official to do that. But what he can do, follow the instruction issued by the CISO or the CIO of the organization and install the and educate security onto the systems.
So now we move to the closing session. May I request Ms. Kyaw?
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Needed Training Center, Bangkok, Kenya Unions of Savings and Credit Cooperatives Limited, Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fishery and Cooperative from Kenya, and the National Cooperative Development Corporation from India. And thanks all the dignitaries, the resources person, the participant, the IT support team, the Needed ESCON member, the Needed Bangkok State, and all others for making this webinar bring value to their cooperatives and needed member country networks. Especially our deepest gratitude is to His Excellency Mr. N.A., Ambassador of Kenya, and the chairpersons of Mr. George Makatu from Kenya, Mr. K.B. Apriti, Vice Chairpersons on Needed, and the Dr. Gelshan Ryan, Senior Advisors on National Cooperative Development Corporation from India for the success of this webinar. Last but not least, our gratitude thanks to Honorable Chairperson Mr. Sandeep Nadyet from Needed for his leadership in adventuring into new activities and areas for Needed members. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you.